everybody. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Truth Podcast. My guest today is Rene Schultz. She is from Salem, New Hampshire, and she's been married 26 years, has two adult daughters. Rene suffered childhood sexual and physical abuse. I'm sorry about that, which added another 30 years of trying to heal from it. Coming from rehab to boardrooms, Rene has taken her knowledge and started Woody Knoll Publishing. As a crisis coach for teens and first responders, she's working on a memoir and her first children's book. Both are due this summer, and we'll see how that goes, right?
Yeah.
Rene encouraged us to meet ourselves where we are, which I love, and by using faith, hope, and boundaries. Well, I like that. We will smash our goals and become who we want to be. Welcome to the show, Rene.
Hi, Jim. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Oh, wow. I read through that, and I hadn't read through that before. Been incredibly busy. And wow, I'm so sorry all that had to happen to you.
Yeah, thank you. It's okay, though. Well, I look back at it, and it's like, well, that was my life, and I got through it. But it's hard going through it, obviously. So I can kind of pass it off a little bit, but I'm glad to be out of it for sure.
Well, yeah, everything makes us who we are. Every good and bad thing along our road and our journey in life makes us who we are. And so I take some of this stuff that like has happened to me and things is it was part of building my character to where it is now. And then the parts that got broken, I have to repair along the way. So I don't know. I think you would agree with that.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand. They're so busy kicking and fighting and flailing against what is or what was and trying to run from it. But submission to what has been allowed in your life is key. Yep.
Explain what you mean by submission.
Submitting to, I'm a Christian, so for me, it's submitting to what God has given me in my life, what he has allowed on my path. And I believe that we are souls in a body, and we were put on a path individually, and we have a purpose and a plan for our lives. And I just posted a thing on IG the other day. It's not about the bad things that happen, isn't even about us. It's about what is being given to us so that we'll become who we need to become. And we need to submit to that process and just be like, and you got to learn your coping skills. Coping skills are huge so that you can get over that. But a lot of times when we're dealing with, self-loathing or just constant irritability, depression, but a lot of times rage, it's because we're fighting something that we can't control, right? So by submitting, by understanding who you are in the universe and understanding that this is being allowed on your path and you're allowed to make these choices and, whatever, you've just got to submit to that and say, okay, and meet yourself when you're hating yourself, when you're looking in the mirror, like you said, it's about meeting yourself where you are. And as a Christian, God's word tells me that God meets us where we are. It's not about, well, you this, well, you that, well, you that. No, it's here you are, here I am. Look in yourself in the mirror and say, I'm okay, I got this. I was on, I did this class on overcoming and healing the inner child. And it was on the Daily OM. They have a Facebook thing and an Instagram thing. And they had this incredible practice for, really traumatized people. If you take your inner child and they're across the room and try to think of them like around the time the trauma started and invite them to you. And what do they look like? And what are they thinking? And what are they feeling? Invite them over. Is it safe enough? Talk to them up on your lap, bring them up on your lap and hold them close. And, it's never the adult that's jealous or raging or bitter. It's that inner child. And we need to bring that inner child and say, I'm the adult. I know you're hurting, but we need to make new choices. I got this.
That's
it's a process
really,
for sure.
Good.
And you can't just get this in your head and be like, you can wake up invigorated and motivated, encouraged from Rene, sure, but you've still got to go through your process. It's still going to be a process of digging deep and finding out the root causes and learning your coping skills and then putting it into practice every day.
Because you got to go and look at yourself in the mirror, though, at the end of the day. And then, like I said, they can have coaching with you and feel wonderful and then come home and face themselves. So that makes total sense.
Yeah.
What lit the fire for you to want to become an entrepreneur? What was the thing that did that for you?
I've always had kind of an entrepreneurial spirit. I sold Mary Kay when I was younger, and then I did Avon for a while. And I've always had different things that I wanted to do. But I did special needs and elder care for years and years and years. But then as I was going through my trauma and starting to heal, I wrote a little, like a Seussical jingle, and I rhyme, and I put it on an author's page, and someone reached out to me and was like, you can write, we need to figure this out, and you got to write some books. And so for the next 2 years, he brought me back from suicide and showed me that I've had chronic pain since I was 20 years old. So I've literally had like 75 or 80 jobs, working 4 hours each. Yeah. So dealing with my CPTSD symptoms and all my chronic pain, I just felt like the biggest loser. I could never achieve anything. I couldn't make money for my family, you know, living in this old dilapidated house. My kids couldn't have things I wanted them to have. It was just full of despair. And then add on all the outside things from people saying things about being lazy and procrastination. And of course, I was diagnosed with bipolar when I was 17, but I have a thing on that too. I never really thought I was bipolar because I never had the massive highs and the crazy lows and the, you know, nothing against people who color their hair purple, but all the different things and the tattoos and the nose rings. I just never had that extreme whatever, and drug use and all that. I went to church, I volunteered, went on missions trips, you know, taught Sunday school, I tried homeschooling, I've done all this. And so I never really agreed with that. So once I started learning my behaviors and all of that, I kind of lost my place. I apologize.
No, you're fine.
So I met this guy and he started teaching me about writing and everything. And yeah, I started my memoir. Well, I had a nervous breakdown in 2010. That's my whole life is all full of little stars. So in 2010, I lost my identity and my CPTSD symptoms were really kicking my butt for like 7 years. It was horrific. And for the first time in my life, I had started cutting. So in 2018, I took suicide off the table, and he and I had written a book or two, and I had started my memoir. That's actually 8 years in the making, but I want it to be like a teaching memoir with all the things that I'm talking about now. And it's hard because, like I said, there are so many hundreds of stories and all of the outer voices coming at you, you know, and so trying to heal with your past while you've got all this stuff coming at you, you know. Oh, that was my point. Yes. Saying, you know, my whole life I've heard, you're an idiot, you're a loser, you're embarrassing. I was on a missions trip. I'll just tell the story. In 2010, I was on a missions trip, and I was trying, you know, going through all my symptoms and my whole life and thinking I was, you know, doing good for the Lord and at least trying to be a good wife and a good mom. And she said, you're an embarrassment to your church and you bring shame to your husband. And I lost my identity, like, right there, as a Christian, as a wife, as a woman. I was just, well, I've never been able to do anything to keep anybody happy. I've been, you know, abused sexually and abused physically, and I was bullied horrifically in school. I brought a gun in high school. I was going to kill my bully. Like, it's been, and then extended family and church issues and everything. And so, yeah, just sitting on my couch and feeling useless for 30 years because I couldn't work and I couldn't work out anymore, and I'm getting all this outside, you know, negative energy. I was thrilled to be able to start writing. And I was like, yes, I can write. If you say I can write and you're helping me with this. So for 2 years, he helped me do that. And again, you had to pay for it. I had to, you know, and we were supposed to publish some books and that never got done. But I don't really want to look at him as like a swindler or anything because he gave me so much. There are people in my immediate family like, he took you. But even though we didn't publish books, he gave me so much. And from that, I've been able to, I started my IG page and started mentoring self-harming teens, and then women, victims of domestic violence and binge eaters. And then last year, I became the domestic violence chairwoman in town for GFWC. So doing fundraisers. So, and I'm back in church. I hadn't gone to church for 5 years because I just couldn't. I was like, I'm afraid of what I'll do if somebody says the wrong thing to me, you know? So it's been a long climb, and everything that I teach has been through all of this. And my goal is just to stop podcasting and get all of my love and my information out. And hopefully, Lord willing, my memoir will be out around August when my first children's book is released. So
that would be awesome.
That's how I got into it. Yeah, and that's the situation around it. So,
well, we're gonna help and try to get you out there as much as we can.
Okay, thank you.
Because it just.
I'd love to do a TED Talk.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, especially for first responders. Mm-hmm.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, such a heart for that.
It's just a thing of when you're put down like that, and when you're told that you're nothing. It's so hard to come back from that, because you get that, you start to assume that identity. And what I always told my daughters is always know who you are, because no one can say anything that's incorrect or a lie.
Yeah. When I was 19, I met a woman. She was 30, and it was a specific situation, but I met her and I wanted to be just like her, and I looked up to her. She was 30 with a degree in special needs. She had kids. She was married. I was 19. I was like, dancing for a living and in a horrific situation. And I just looked up to that type of woman. And one day we went to see her sister was building a big, beautiful house, and I was walking around, and it took me 30 years to realize that this came from severe jealousy. But when we went back to our landing place where we all were, I said to the people we were with, "Oh my goodness, so-and-so's house is amazing." And the woman said to me, "You're just white trash. What do you know about anything nice?" And that was my identity until 2 years ago. That was my identity until 2 years ago. People just don't realize what their words are doing and how people are looking up to you and looking at you. And it's been a lot of consequence.
Yeah, everybody has their genius and their amazing stuff inside of them. And it's hard for me to hear this, because I can see it in you. It's in you. You just got to come out yet. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Thank you, yeah.
It's there. You just have to bring it out. And I know you can. I know that. It's hard, because I tell you this, that your business only grows in step with how you grow inside.
Yeah,
so,
and the passion you put into it from that
no,
seed.
the level of character inside, the demons that you fight, when you beat that one, you'll go up another level in your business, and you'll face the next one until that stuff inside comes out.
Yeah, like my IG page, posting all that stuff and then reaching out to kids, that was a huge trigger, because kids, especially females, had been so bad to me for so long. I never wanted anything to do with teenage girls, and like my girls, I have 2 daughters, so their friends would come and I would love them and adore them and everything. But it wasn't until actually in 2015, as I was going through it, I became a full-time nanny about an hour away to this psychopathic teen, and she had demonic symbols on her wall, and she cut, and it was really, really heavy. But it was this little girl, she was 15, who taught me my self-worth, and I taught her that she has worth, even though she's so broken, and she grew up in this family and these parents, and she taught me that I also have something I can give. And so yeah, it was epic. So now I love kids. When I came out of that with a huge heart for teens and broken teens, and I went on IG and started my page and started reaching out to self-harming teens, and they all call me auntie. They're all around the world. "Thank you, auntie. Thank you for lifting me up," and whatever. And there's nothing, the Lord could not ever have given me anything better than that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, just a healed place. Yeah. And then I started the podcast, and now this is my first video one. So the one thing for 2 years, I'm like, how am I ever gonna? It's like, because I'm doing it, because you grow, and you just self-acceptance.
And it's funny, because like I had huge problems with video when I first started, and I still make mistakes now. But I don't care about them. So you know what I mean?
That's
it's
key.
just this is it's probably my 92nd, 93rd show. I mean, on this one, and then I do another one that I've had quite a few shows on that one, and just you get to the point where it's like, we're just human beings, and we are going to make mistakes, and we are going to do things stupid. It's just the way it is. So the distinction is, if we do something that's not bright, not smart, that does not mean we are not bright, not smart.
Like the other day when I was supposed to do my interview with you, right? And first I didn't have my stuff plugged in, and then I didn't have my headphones, and then I didn't know it was video. And you were like, "Well, it's video." I was like, "Okay, sorry, see you Monday." Walk through it. There's nothing else you can do. Right. And you're so gracious and nice anyway. It's not like you gave me an attitude or rolled your eyes at me or anything, but yeah.
If I did, I probably was passing out because I don't sleep enough. No, I'm just kidding.
I know, yeah. Sleep is an issue, huh? So yeah, just getting the word out that you are somebody, you are created special, and no matter what you've been through and no matter how you feel, you can, and just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
Just keep on keeping on.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the things I tell a lot of entrepreneurs too, because it's like you get to the point where it's like nobody's going to want to listen to me, and what do I have to offer, and why would I be special? I'm not Oprah or we're not one of those big name people or whatever. And it's like, but you have a message, and your story, your voice, your inside, you will resonate with the people that you're supposed to have as your audience, as the people that love you. And so it doesn't matter if a million people are doing the same thing that you're doing, they don't have your voice
and your experiences and your thought process. And no matter who you are, there are people out there who need you. Like you can look at the fetishes and the podcasts and the shows that are out there, like, what? Who is into this? There are plenty. It is. It's funny. Yeah.
It is. It's really kind of cool. And I think that it doesn't matter where you've been, it's where you're going and where you are. You can't let your past dictate to you. And that's why I kind of like think about trying to be in the moment instead of thinking of the past or the future, because the future, we don't know what it is yet. We don't know if it's negative or positive, really.
Yeah.
And the past we can't change. So the only thing we can do is live right now and try to make that moment the best it can be.
Yeah. A great coping skill for that too, with the stress and the overthinking and the thoughts, the negativity and everything, binaural beats and I am affirmations. I mean, I'm a Christian, so I can say pray, pray. But I mean, for the masses, binaural beats and I am affirmations are epic. It was a huge, huge part of my healing. The binaural beats for anxiety, for sleep, for stress, for overthinking, it just soothes your brain, heals it. And I mean, there were days I was listening up to 4 hours a day. Trying to soothe my neurosis because the thoughts were ugly.
No, it's good though. You have to clear that stuff out. And I was thinking 2020 has been a year so far that a lot of people are going through a lot of stuff, and because it's trying to get all that bad stuff out. I liken it to gold being purified. If you know how that happens, it is heated to a certain temperature, and all the impurities come to the top, and you have to skim those off. Well, for us as human beings, when they come up to the top, kind of comes through our mouth, or
it's an excruciating process. Yeah. And usually getting to the other side requires humility too, because again, it's the submission, but to submit to it, you've got to be humble. And, if you're depending on how proud of a person you are and how much you think you can control in your life, you're going to really go through it hard. Humility is key. Yeah.
Ain't that true? That's very true. And it's something that we don't talk about very often on the show. So I like that. I like you brought that up. I like that you brought that up. Because it's an aspect that we, like I said, we don't think about it as much. We're all, I can, rather than, maybe,
the reality is I can't. So let's think about how I can.
Exactly.
Get some support and coping skills. Yeah.
Get some people out there around me that care for me and want me to succeed. Yeah. It works like that too.
Yes. Yeah.
There's and I'm not sure. I think it's Chinese, but I'm not sure. There's a proverb or a saying out there that says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Yes, when we're ready to hear, we're going to, because you can say something a million times to somebody, but it's not until they're ready to hear. Yeah, I almost told the story and I'm like, oops, privacy now. So yes, only when people are ready to hear.
Exactly.
There's the teachers all of a sudden in front of their face. Yeah.
So you've been through all this stuff and all the negative and all that stuff. What are you doing with that? How are you turning that into a positive, and what have you put it into?
Sorry. What do I put it into? Everything I've learned is I just want to tell everybody. Whether, like right now, I've been mentoring for hours and hours a week to all different people for nothing for like 3 years, but it doesn't bother me. I mean, would I like to get through my memoir? Would I like to get my memoir out? You know what? The other day, a first responder that I helped get through a horrific thing at Christmas sent me $1,000 check. And that was such a huge encouragement, because when you spend a lot of time volunteering, and it's not like I volunteer for an organization and I do it on my own, for my own time, and it helped a lot, because with my disability and not being able to work a lot and, struggling and everything, it's like, I just want to give up everything and I'm not making it. But that was a massive encouragement to me. And while I love the words of encouragement, and that's all epic, and my teens around the world call me auntie, that's so huge. just, I know that I'm doing the right thing, and I know my time reaching out to people is worth it, and it's making a difference.
It is. I do the same
Yep.
thing. I mentor people for free at this point, and because I just think I know that some people just can't afford that stuff, and so I try to help out as much as I can. And I find it really, really rewarding. I really do. I have the kind of a similar thing where I got people that they want to do something with their life, and I don't mind helping them out. And so that's where I'm at as well. But for you, do you have things that you say you have a book that needs to be published yet, and you have a couple of things that you coach. What else do you do?
So like I said, I'm the domestic violence chairwoman. I'm active in church. Well, not active. I don't like volunteer, do a lot of different things, just little. So I go to church. I helped out with Sunday school a little bit, and we do different activities. I'll sign up to do whatever. I work on the weekends too. So when there's activities, it's tough. I'm like dragging. Oh, because I work in special needs. So I work in a group home overnights on the weekends.
Nice.
And I love my special needs people. My sister has Down syndrome, so I take her usually on the weekends. And yeah, that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. And other than that, I'm always just watching YouTube videos and trying to learn how to do a website, how to do this, what this means, how to write a memoir, how to do illustration, the cover. There's just so much, and it doesn't compute. It just doesn't stick. So there's a lot of time spent on my business doing but everybody does, right? They always talk about between emails and this and that and hiring and firing and learning, it's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot. So what's in the cards for you, do you think? What direction do you want to go business wise to make a living off of what you've learned and what you can teach people and things like that?
Like I said, I'd like to make a TED Talk. And because of what I teach, the Faith Hope Boundaries, it can go. I would love to teach in schools. I would love to go to women's conferences. Those are the other big scary things. First I'm doing this, but then it's like in front of people and live. And, even if you have like a script you can, look at or whatever, it's still it's still terrifying. So between my memoir and I actually have about 11 children's books. I have the, what do you call it? The storyboard for.
Oh, okay.
And a TED Talk. I definitely, I'd like to speak and do my books and make some money off of that.
Are you going to do coaching and have courses out, things like that as well? Or
I've been trying to put a course together, but it's really hard, like trying to concentrate, and it's I would love, if I made a little bit of money, I'd love to hire somebody to put it together for me.
Right.
Sit down but for me, I try not to get discouraged because I do have so much knowledge and so much I can teach, but I'm still just me, and I'm just working with what I got,
That's okay. That's how everyone starts.
Yeah.
That's how everyone starts. And we have a very good community in the our Facebook group, and they'll be there to help. I know that much. I got a couple other people that I know could help out too, so I'll try to get those people to you. And so anyway, we're just saying everything we feel right on the show.
Yeah. It's a good show. This is a fun one.
Yeah.
Usually I'm like talking about all the drudgery of the things I've done and the pain. And so this is refreshing.
But it's things that have happened to you. And we know that, we recognize that. And it was painful, but we want to focus on a future. We want to focus on, okay, yep, that was my past, and it's going to translate to my future because I'm meant to help the people that are going through what I went through.
Yeah. And like for me, like you see the kids who are like abused, and oh my goodness, how are they going to grow up? What's going to happen? Oh, what's going to be of them? And I'm that person. And it's an honor to be that person, and an honor to be an example to others. And I look at like Elizabeth Smart and the 3 girls that escaped the Castro house, and they just have all my respect, and I just can't even imagine it. And that's a big thing that got me through too, is knowing that through my very suicidal times the past few years, knowing that others still, no matter what I went through, still others have gone through so much more. And I have to be strong and get through it, because God's plan for our lives is not that we commit suicide. Like, that's not the end.
No.
Yeah.
No. And here's something too. I'm going to say this. If you had done that, all the people that you're helping now wouldn't have you.
Yeah.
And all the people that are counting on you in the future wouldn't have you. So don't give up and keep sticking to it, because it's a thing where there are other people's lives that are basically, I'm not going to say it weird, they're at stake because of the fact that you've been through some horrific trauma, and those people that have been through that same thing, you will understand them in a way no one else can.
Yeah. Yeah. My children's books are all on character. My first one is actually on dementia and death and dying. And I have 2 series. And in my first series, the little boy and girl, they're animals, and they save the forest from a forest fire. And in the beginning, they're scaredy cats, and they're terrified of bumping their heads and bumping their elbows. And they actually save the forest from a forest fire. And Francesca Ferret loses an eye. So I want to bring that community into it too.
Okay.
And yeah, so she wears an eye patch, and so, yeah, I'm excited. I have all this stuff all laid out. I've been waiting for 2 years. My creativity is flowing and rocking. I just got to get it all together and
just put it down and get it organized is what it is.
Yeah. So
okay, I'm going to switch gears just a little bit. I'm going to ask you if there's people out there watching and they've went through a bunch of trauma and this stuff is going on and they're kind of at their wits' end. What would you say to that person? How would you help that person?
The first thing is to look at your faith, because the faith is everything. And some people can have faith in themselves. Go ahead. I can't. And the risk of that is when something really, really big comes and you're depressed and you're, despondent and hopeless anyway. So I'm into like the higher power, but more specifically God, the creator, right? So faith, you've got to look at your faith, because faith is the substance of things hoped for. The things that we hold in our hand. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. So our faith is the only evidence that we have of the things that we want. And so when you hold on to that hope comes riding in. Once you have your faith established, hope comes riding in. Woohoo, we've been called in. Your mind is screaming for hope, and hope is looking for you. So using faith, and then hope is the strength. Hope is the strength that keeps our boundaries. So faith and hope create your boundaries, and hope gives you the strength to keep them every day. You just got to keep on looking on. And when you feel like you're going to fall and like everything, you got to remember your faith. Where does your faith come from? Boundaries.
I love how excited you are about this. You can tell your passion. You can tell the passion right away.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, nobody's going to mistake you.
Does it make sense? Do I not even make sense? So you're not going to release this?
No. That's not what I meant at all.
No, that's not what you meant. I'm just asking you. Yeah. So I'm good, right? I'm on the right path.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you just took that and ran with it. Some people have to take quite a bit of time and think about it. And you just was like, oh, I know exactly what I'm doing here.
Yeah, this is what you got to do. Yeah. And on IG, I am that wicked smart chick, SMAHT, that wicked smart chick. So come follow me and DM me.
Yeah, because you have a little bit of an accent there.
That wicked smart chick. And I'm also on Facebook, Rene Pelletier Schultz. So, jump on, come find me. Let's talk and let's get some ideas on how to get your life going. Woohoo!
It sounds amazing. This has been a very good conversation. And
great. Thank you.
I appreciate you coming on the show.
I appreciate you having me.
Thank you. I want to just tell you, don't quit, because you're going to have that come up. You're going to have it come up when you have a hard time, and things are going to get rough sometimes. The entrepreneurial journey is a winding road. I've done 90 some episodes, and I have not met one entrepreneur that is an overnight success.
Right.
So learn how to pivot, learn how to say, okay, well, I like this and this might work, but maybe that didn't work for me. That's okay.
Right.
That's okay. Because you have it in you. You really do. But you have to believe that. You have to believe in yourself.
I will. Bit by bit, roll by roll. That's how we make our dreams grow.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, a little bit of it. It's just baby steps every day.
It is.
Meet yourself where you are. It's just baby steps every day. Yeah.
And as much as you learn on the, the website stuff and all this other stuff, it's just as important to grow on the inside. It is.
Yeah, facing your fears and just fighting through them. It's so important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It really is.
Thank you so much.
I really love this show. I really do, because there's so much heart. You can tell how much passion and love you have for people inside of you, even though that things have happened that people have been very mean to you. So it's difficult sometimes not to be mean back. You know?
Yeah, merciful indifference. With merciful indifference, we can
Ooh, I
have
like that.
mercy. Yeah, merciful indifference. This is how we forgive. With mercy, we can look at another soul who chooses not to see us for who we are, or just chooses to continue gossiping, being a jerk, whatever. With mercy for who they are, we take indifference and not anger because we're not giving our energy. With merciful indifference, you walk away from this person, you step them to the curb, and you walk away. We don't kick people because that infers anger. Merciful indifference. When we have mercy on ourselves, and we can forgive ourselves, and we see who we are in light of the universe, we can have mercy on other people. And with indifference, just walk away knowing that we are on our own path with our own plan and purpose, and just keep going. It doesn't matter what anybody else on the other paths think.
That is so much. There is so much wisdom in what you just said. There's so many people that want to take out their frustrations on, whatever. And it's like, okay, I'm not lending anything to this. I'm not going to spend my energy unwisely and just basically ruminate over the same thing over and over again and get more angry and more angry and more angry. It's just let it go.
Yeah, my first biggest test was somebody in my husband's family was texting him. They were texting him and I together, talking about how I'm sneaky and I'm this and I'm that and I'm a whore and you need to leave her, and just all these hundreds and hundreds of texts this one day. And all I could do was sit on the couch. This was my first big test. It was about a year and a half ago. It was my first big test on having mercy for a soul and being able to sit and not say anything. And I just sat and I was just praying and thanking God that I'd finally arrived. It was amazing. It's like, thank you for that gift from that person, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for that big test, because I needed to know.
Pass with flying colors. That's right.
Was he going to come over there and smack the makeup off of you?
Yes.
I mean, oops, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But you feel that way sometimes. I mean, it's like if people attack you, it's only natural to feel like you want to defend yourself against that.
Yeah, I have a whole other story of how I got to being forgiven and how I forgave and everything too. But that's a whole other story they'll have to read in my memoir, because it has nothing to do with this. But yeah, right. It's been tough, but it's a good time. I'm having a good time now.
It's a good tease for the book when it comes out, which it will come out.
Yes, it will come out.
No doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
So okay, anything you want to tell everybody that's listening out there before we go?
I think I've kind of said everything. Faith, hope, boundaries, merciful indifference, just keep swimming, learn your coping skills. There are skills you need to learn so that you can get by every day. If things in your life are making you roll your eyes or be sad or depressed or hopeless or whatever, I don't care if it's your mother or a coworker or whatever, you've got to figure out how to put boundaries up for yourself to protect yourself at all costs. The most important thing is protecting yourself. So if you can be merciful on, say, an overbearing mom who's making you crazy and depressed, you either need to say, you know what, mom, you're neurotic, you're narcissistic, you're whatever. You need to be able to communicate to this person why you need to be done, or you need to just have complete mercy on them and have the coping skills to help yourself deal with it every day as you mercifully and gracefully work with these people in your life. Wow. And a big thing with actions and especially words, I learned about giving a 1 foot space around my body, and whatever you throw at me, it's like the fiery arts of the devil, the Bible says, right? They're not touching me. You can say what you want, you can do what you want. They just fall into the ground in this beautiful 1 foot space around me. So don't let it penetrate.
Absolutely. No, that's very, very good. Everyone, I would like you to subscribe and click the little bell thing and whatever else YouTube wants us to do. I know it's exhausting. We go through this.
Ring the bell for Rene.
Ring the bell for Rene. That's good. No, but if you want to get a hold of Rene, we're going to have the links to everything that any way to get a hold of her through on the description in the show. If I could talk, which would be really nice since it's what I'm supposed to be doing right now. But yeah.
We're good.
But please subscribe and get a hold of Rene, and everybody, you have a wonderful day.